In this video, I'm going to be doing a tier list of all of the different tools in Minecraft. If everybody who watched this video liked and subscribed, this would probably become the most viewed video on YouTube. So let's make it happen and let's get to the video. Now, the axe is definitely an amazing tool. It can be used at basically every part of the game and is super useful at every part of the game. Not only is it good for chopping down trees, and if you're building out of trees, you're going to need an axe, but it's also a really useful weapon with the new combat update. I mean, arguably, it's even better than the sword, so I think putting it in amazing tier is just where it has to be. The next one is arrows. Now, arrows, I think, are just good. I mean, there's a ton of different versions of them. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do with them. Crossbows, bows, dispensers. I mean, they're a really useful item, and I just think they're just arrows, so I can't put them in amazing quite because you can't do anything with just the arrow alone. So I think good tier is probably the perfect place for the arrow. Now, glass bottles, I mean, them alone are pretty useless. You can't really drink. I mean, you can technically drink out of them, but you're not going to get anything out of it. Obviously, potions are useful, but I think I'll just put them in fine because they're fine. There's not that much that you can do with the glass bottle, but I like that you can drink out of them even if it's useless. Now, the bow, I don't know, because the bow just does what the bow is supposed to do, but it does it really well, and I just think because, for me personally, I prefer the bow over the different types of weapons that you can use as projectiles, I think I'll put it in good, but it doesn't do that much. The bucket is so useful. You can do so much with it, and you can just use it at every part of the game. I don't know how I couldn't put it in amazing. I obviously use the bucket constantly. I'm not quite the best at MLGs or anything, but I can't imagine playing Minecraft without a bucket. That would be really hard, so I'm going to have to put it in amazing tier. Now, the carrot on a stick, I don't know. I really like it, but in terms of usefulness, it is awful. I don't know, because it's just not cringe. It's not. It's a pretty cool item, and I like that it's in the game, even if it is completely useless. So I think I'm just going to put it in bad, because I do like it as an item, and I think it's cool that you can ride pigs, so I'll just put it in bad. The clock, though, the clock is kind of cringe. I guess if you're underground and you really need to know what time it is, like, I don't know, other than filming a 100 days video that you're just in the caves all the time, so you just need to sleep, I don't know when you would ever really have a use for it, so I think I'm going to have to put it in cringe, because it is a little cringe. Same with the compass. The compass on its own is just kind of cringe, and I mean, I guess if you're direction master and need to know that your base is north instead of just looking at your chords, you can use the compass. It has some cool crafting recipes, but I don't think I really count that as part of its value, so it's also probably going to go in cringe tier. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, I know, because a lot of people like the crossbow, but me personally, I don't. I think it has some cool mechanics, being able to load up rockets and stuff. That's super cool, but I'd never use it over a bow. I'm not good with it, so that's probably a big part of it, but yeah, it's probably going to go in bad tier for me. Maybe if I used it more to be higher, but bad tier for now. Fire charge is cringe. What are you going to do with a fire charge? It just takes up space in your inventory, and just use a flint and steel or anything else. I mean, the fire charge is almost completely useless, and it is most definitely cringe tier. The fishing rod. I'm half focusing this on usefulness and half focusing on how cool I think they are, and this is like a 10 out of 10 for how cool I think an item is. I always want to use a fishing rod, not just because like I need food, even though I mean that matters, but the fishing rod is just so cool. I love the little fishing minigame in Minecraft, and I think it's just super relaxing and it's perfect, and I love the new mechanic with fishing that makes it more kind of fun with the little trails of the fishes and stuff. So I don't know, it's useful too. I think I have to put it in amazing tier just because I really love fishing and I love the fishing rod. Oh, and I forgot, you can use it as kind of a projectile thing to grab other players. So there's so much stuff that you can do with it above it just being cool. I think I might have to put it at the top of amazing. You know, flint and steel. Flint and steel is super useful, but it's just like, there's not that much you can do with it. In certain circumstances, it's a great item, but you're probably going to stop using it after you go to the nether, and only to like very specific times that you need to like light a fireplace or something. So I think I'll just put it in fine, even though it's pretty useful. Now I feel like a lot of people are going to want me to put this in cringe, but it's just fine. It's a good tool, and I mean, if you're building a farm, you can use the it's useful, and you don't need a ton of materials because you don't need a diamond. So you can just build a stone. Everything works. You know, honestly, it's good. I'd say it's better than like the shovel or something, because a diamond shovel, you need to spend more materials, and it doesn't like there's not many uses for it. So I think I'll put it in good, as controversial as that's going to be. The map's a super cool item. There's tons that you can do with it, and decoration wise, I think it's definitely up there with the best items in the game. So map is definitely going to be high, especially with the new like buried treasure map and stuff. I mean, there's a ton of different things that the map is good for, so good tier seems perfect for it. Now we got the lead. The lead is the bane of my existence. I absolutely hate this item. I hate having to get animals with it. It's just so obnoxious because you can't run, but sometimes you can. If you look away, it breaks. And it's just like the most frustrating thing ever. The pickaxe is going to go in good tier. As iconic as it is, as cool as it is, I can't put it in amazing because it only does one thing. And that's mine. And mining's useful, but I mean, you know, it's just a pickaxe, you know? It's just like not incredible. It's just a pickaxe. Even though I love mining in Minecraft, I don't think the tool itself is quite an amazing tier. Now the saddle is fine. I mean, obviously it has pretty niche uses, and horses and pigs are the only things that you can ride with, and you're never really going to be riding pigs. So if you're interested in riding horses, there you go. You got a saddle. It's there. It's in the game. But like, if they just remove saddles, not much would be lost. If you could just like ride horses naturally, I don't see why we need saddles, but I guess it's a cool item in the game. But if you've been playing for like a long time on a server, you're just gonna have like tons of saddles that you have nothing to do with, so it's fine. Shears are I don't know. I think I'll put them in fine, just because like, I don't know, you never think to use shears just like around the game, but there's a ton of stuff that's pretty useful to do with them. If you're decorating, you can get a bunch of leaves and grass and stuff, and obviously sheep with their wool. I'd say it's a pretty useful item, but it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of niche with how much you can do with it, so fine tier seems perfect for it. Now the shield, I don't know. I know a lot of people love the shield, but for me, I never really use it, so I think I'll just put it in good tier. I know it's super useful, and like, there's a ton that you can do with it, etc., but it's just like, I don't want to go through all the hassle of having to get a shield and use it, and it just takes up so much space on the screen. And I know this is the stupidest argument against the shield, but I'd prefer to have like a torch in my offhand or food or something instead of a shield. So I might die a lot more than people who use shields, but I don't know, they're just good for me. The shovel, I've talked about a little bit with the hoe, but I think I'll just put it in fine tier because, I don't know, it's fine. There's not that much things that you're going to need a shovel for, but when you need a shovel, you really need a shovel, so fine tier seems perfect for it. Spyglass is kind of cringe. I wish they would do something more with it. There's a ton of different things that people have like said that you could potentially do with it, like attaching it to a crossbow, which would bring both of them so much higher because it would differentiate it from the bow, and it would just make it cool on its own. But right now, it's just kind of cringe. There's not much you can do with it, and I mean, you can just install Optifine if you want to zoom that badly. And then the totem of Undying is, I don't know if I'd quite put it in amazing, but it's super good, just because it's super hard to get, but it's useful, and it looks really cool. It has a cool use, so yeah, I think good tier is the perfect tier for it. And then the sword, I think I'll put it in fine tier because it has pretty limited uses. I guess the new versions of the sword have extra stuff with like sweeping edge, but I don't know. I think fine is No, because you're always going to need a sword. You're usually going to use a sword. So I think I'll put it in good tier, and that is just about the end of the list, but I did forget Tridents. Tridents would go in probably good tier also, just because there's stuff that you can do with it that's more than just like attacking, and it's a cool projectile, but you know, I'm never going to use a trident because I suck at Minecraft, so just putting it in good tier there. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did like this video, please be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Peace.